What's up, everybody? Garrett Brumley here with Duty to Train. Okay, so this week is going to be a little bit different. I'm still trying to figure everything out, so give me a little bit of a break. But I found it very hard to go back into my last research videos and try and figure out like what were the best parts. So I'm going to kind of timestamp stuff and just say in the video like, oh, I want to do this, and that way when I go back and listen to it, because I'm listening to my own videos because I'm trying to find my voice, and I know it sounds like you're listening to your own videos, that sounds so stupid, but I need to know how I sound. And one of the things is that I talk really fast, so I gotta slow it down. But in the video, I'll just say like, oh, I'm going to put this in the weekend video, and then that way I know exactly when to go. Okay, so we are going to share a screen, and you can get a quick glimpse of what I'm going to go over. That's gone now. But today I wanted to pick up where I mentioned this the other day in the last video, and that is that from what I have heard, and I've never done my own research, that's why I'm doing this, the majority of gun murders happen in like blue cities, right? You have all these generally liberal people saying, oh, we need more gun control, but the vast majority of the murders happen in cities where the gun control already exists. And so, they're basically telling a bunch of people who live out in the boonies, hey, you have to conform to our gun laws because we don't feel safe here. And you're like, yeah, but you live in the city, I live out here, like I have nothing to do with you. So anyway, we're just going to get right into that. So let me just X out all these random tabs. That'll make this easier. And I also need to remember to, again, this is why I'm doing this now, because that way, hopefully once I get some more followers, I'm going to be moving and grooving and I'll be good to go. Okay. I am going to pull up my Google Drive. See, next time I'll do this already, but bear with me here. All right. D2T podcast links. See, next time I'll just have this all set up. Okay, so 848/4/23. Okay. I can do subject later, so we don't have to do that now. Okay. So gun crimes. Let's start with this. Because I think I saw the other day, one of the arguments is that the majority of gun murders happen in red states. But then the other side of the argument that I've heard is that, okay, yes, but then where all those murders occur are in the blue cities within the red states. So let's try and figure that out. Violence Policy Center. Okay. States with weak gun laws. Okay. Great place to start. States with weak gun laws and higher gun ownership lead nation in gun deaths. This might be a little bit of a longer video. I have about 50 minutes, so I'm just going to get into this. Okay. More than 45,000 Americans killed by gunfire in 2020, the highest gun death toll on record. Remember, you basically have to take about 55% of those out because a lot of them are suicide. The majority, though, of gun deaths are suicide. So basically cut that in half, and that's what we're talking about, murder. So notice that they say the highest gun death toll on record. So more than 45,000 Americans killed by gunfire, right? Suicide counts as gunfire. That's why they phrase it that way. Okay, perfect. State: Mississippi, Wyoming, Louisiana, Alaska, Missouri, Alabama. Highest overall gun death rate. States with the 5 lowest overall gun death rates: Hawaii, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and New York. All right, just like off the top of my head, I'm trying to be honest here, right? But when you have a lot of guns in your state, it would make sense that you would end up having more gun deaths, right? So gun death per 100,000, it is drastically higher, but you're basically 5 times higher gun ownership, and then 3.5 times 5. Yeah, it's a little bit. I was just seeing if like the gun ownership percentage increase equates to the gun per death increase, and it doesn't really. Okay, so the state with the highest per capita gun death was in 2020 was Mississippi, followed by Wyoming, Louisiana, Alaska, Missouri, and Alabama. Alaska's surprising. right? Alaska would not have been on my highest murder state bingo card. Okay, so let's put this in here. All right, highest gun deaths by state, and then we will insert link and apply. Okay, so going back. Okay, so now let's go to Mississippi first. All right, so Mississippi gun deaths by county. Sounds good. Gun violence in Mississippi. Okay, this is according to Everytown for Gun Safety Support Fund. Okay, this fact sheet is a summary of data contained in every stat for gun safety, a free interactive website that contains data about gun violence by state, county, race, and ethnicity, gender, and intent. These materials have been designed for users to better understand how gun violence impacts the communities they care about. Okay, in an average year, 607 people die by guns. In an average year, 607 people die by guns in Mississippi with a rate of 20.4 deaths per 100,000. This is according to 20.4. Okay, so this one might be overstating it a little bit. In Mississippi, 47% of gun deaths are suicides. Okay, so I was a little bit wrong. I think the average, though, if you do the national average, I think from an old poll I saw, not an old poll, it's just like a Pew Research poll. It's the majority of gun deaths are homicides nationwide. In Mississippi, it's reversed, I guess, obviously. In Mississippi, 47% of gun deaths are suicides and 47% are homicides. What are the other 6%? This is compared to 61%. Oh, yeah. Okay. So see, this is compared to 61% and 36% respectively. So 61% of gun deaths in America right here are suicides. 36% are homicides nationwide, according to this. I've seen like differing stats. So it'd be interesting to see when this came out. Updated February. Okay. February 2020. Okay. So let's throw this in the fact sheet. Gun deaths in Mississippi. Insert link. Okay. Rate of gun deaths in Mississippi increased 37% from 2009 to 2018, compared to an 18% increase over the same time period nationwide. Okay, everybody, okay, I want people to know this because everybody keeps making this same intentional error. It has to be intentional because there's no way all these different areas keep making this same mistake, okay? This is intentional. If you look at firearm homicide rate right here, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, from 1993 all the way to 2010, it basically went down by more than half. It went from 9 per 100,000 persons, rate of firearm homicide per 100,000 persons nationwide went from 9 all the way down to 4 in 2010, right? It went to the low. And then this site right here says the rate of gun deaths in Mississippi increased 37% from 2009 to 2018, compared to an 18% increase over the same time period nationwide. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. All I'm saying is that there will be trends over time that we also have to take into account, right? We can't just say, oh, we have more guns now, like that must be the issue. Everybody's just generally, I keep making this point in my videos, but everybody's just generally more angry nowadays. Like no matter who you talk to, everybody's really wound up because of politics and Trump or Biden or whatever you want to talk about. And, and I think that has a lot to do with it because for a long time, the homicide rate per 100,000 persons was going down. But I've seen so many sites now, and all of them talk about gun deaths from 2009 roughly to whenever they can get the statistics. And that is because that's where they can show you that gun deaths are going up. If they go before that, it starts to affect their statistics and it doesn't make the point that they want to make. So they're all cherry picking data. This is dishonest data. In Mississippi, the rate of gun suicide increased 7%. Okay. Let's talk about what I want to see is where it is. Okay, intimate partner. In an average year, 37,603 people die by guns in the United States. This equates to a rate of 11.4 deaths per 100,000 people. I wonder where they're getting that because oh, they died by guns. This is tracking homicides only. So right now we'd be roughly at like 5 per 100,000. And that makes sense because this is like the other 6. 11.4. Yeah. So 6.5. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay. The rate of gun deaths in the United States increased. Yeah. See, they're cherry picking their data. In the US, there's an average of 23 minutes between gun suicide deaths. Okay. 59% of, okay. This did not answer my question at all. Next. Map of gun deaths shows lower rate in cities. Okay. Updated April 27th. Have lower rates than rural counties. The most rural. With this, I'm just at face value. I'm gonna cry BS. I'm gonna dive into this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you think that people out in the country are killing each other at higher rates than city people? I would surprise me. The most rural counties had a 37% higher rate of firearm deaths. I bet you they're making the same mistake. They're talking about deaths. Notice how it doesn't say murders. Firearm deaths than the most urban counties. Right? If you buy a gun and you go kill yourself, should we take away everybody's right to own guns because of that? Right? No, obviously not. And I don't even think anybody on the left argues that. Right? If you're not going to kill yourself with a gun, you're going to figure out some different way to kill yourself. But they use this number to push their narrative. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now let's see what happens. Gosh. Gun death rates are consistently higher in rural areas than in big cities. Two decades of data show. Okay, from 2011 to 2020, the most rural counties in the U.S. had 37% higher rate of gun deaths per capita than the most urban counties, according to research published Wednesday in the journal JAMA Surgery. Okay, let's check out this. JAMA network. Convenient. They link out to something that you can't read. That's annoying. I guess you have to be able to link out to stuff, but study examines the variability in firearm mortality risk by county type across the full rural urban continuum in the U.S. But wait, okay, so this is contrary to the widely held notion. We'll just read what we can. Contrary to the widely held notion that death by firearms is a predominantly urban issue, gun violence likely impacts all U.S. communities in comparably negative ways, albeit via different mechanisms across the rural-urban continuum. Despite the pervasive nature of gun violence, high rates of gun homicide in urban areas or urban centers have been the sole focus of many policymakers and used as justification to loosen gun laws. Okay, despite the pervasive nature of gun violence, the high rates of gun homicide in urban centers have been the sole focus of many policymakers and used as justification to loosen gun laws. Okay, variation in fire mortality between urban and rural settings has key. Okay. All right. Might just have to. The findings are based on analysis. The author attributed the trend to a rise in gun suicides. Okay, at least they talk about it right up front. But that headline is super misleading, right? That's totally misleading. Map of gun deaths across the U.S. shows cities have lower rates than rural county. I don't know. I guess they are saying gun deaths, but when people read that, they're not thinking suicides. It is credit where it's due, though. NBC put this at the top and not at the bottom. The findings are based on analysis and data. The authors attributed this trend to a rise in gun suicides. Okay, they attributed. Okay, so the findings are based. Okay, so it's talking about research published by this, and the findings are based on an analysis of data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The authors attributed the trend to a rise in gun suicides, which outnumbered gun homicides in 2021 by more than 5,300 and are more likely to occur in rural counties. So what they're talking about is people kill themselves out in the country more than people in the city do. I think just in general, I know a lot more like Black people live in the city than out in like rural counties. And I want to say that, let me look this up. Suicide rate by ethnicity. I think that white people kill themselves far more than any other population. After increasing between 2000 and 2018, age-adjusted suicide rates for non-Hispanic white people declined from 2018 for the three leading methods. What about just suicide rates? White people declined after increasing it. Okay, so this says firearm suicide rates for non-Hispanics. I don't get that. If you're Hispanic, aren't you Hispanic? What's a Hispanic white person? Genuine. I honestly, I have no idea. If you asked a Hispanic person, "Are you white?" They'd be like, "No, I'm Hispanic." And if you asked a white person, "Are you Hispanic?" They'd be like, "No, I'm white." So what is a non-Hispanic? I'm being genuinely honest. I have no idea. What is a non-Hispanic white person? Like, I honestly, I don't know. And like a non-Hispanic Black person. So should this be a Hispanic person? That just doesn't make any sense. Okay. Firearm suicide rates for non-Hispanic white people declined, whereas rates for non-Hispanic Black and Hispanic people continued to increase. Okay. But yeah, we see white people. Yeah. Okay. So age-adjusted suicide rates by race and ethnicity, United States. Okay. So let's use this one. Maybe I'm not going to put like every single link in here if it's not suicides by race. I'll say suicide, rate. Geez, I can't type by race. And then, okay. Sorry, peeps. Okay, and then I will insert link and okay, so white people kill themselves a lot more. That's the point I was trying to make, which I was pretty sure was true. So Black people and Hispanic people are pretty much in line. White people apparently are way more depressed. So they just kill themselves. Anyone who doesn't know, my dad was part of that. My dad killed himself in 2002 and he used a gun. So that doesn't mean we should take away anybody's gun rights. So I do have a personal, I don't know, claim, I think, to this, which I don't think gives me any more validity to this argument than someone who doesn't have somebody who was affected by like firearm suicide, like just because you don't know somebody who's shot themselves with a firearm, like killed themselves with a firearm, that doesn't mean you don't get to be part of the argument. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I do have like personal experience with this. Okay, so yeah, okay, so this is saying map of gun deaths across the US shows cities have lower rates than rural counties. Now, if you read, so my point is if you read that title, what would you come away thinking? You'd come away thinking that for some reason, the cities are a lot safer than the rural communities. And that's not true, right? Maybe people out in rural, maybe it's more dangerous to live out in a rural community because you're probably going to kill yourself more. But that's also probably because the vast majority of white people, I don't know if I would say vast majority, but I do think that urban city centers, let's look up this. Just keep on rolling. How about urban versus rural population by race? Whites accounted for 78.2% of the rural population compared to 57 0.3% of urban areas. Okay, so more Black people live in the cities, more white people live not in the city. And so if you were to read this, right, you would obviously come away thinking cities aren't as dangerous, right? And that's just not true. I don't have to worry living in a rural community about killing myself because I'm not suicidal. So this whole story affects me none. The only thing I have to worry about is going into DC because that's where I could get murdered, or Baltimore because I live in Maryland, right? I don't have to worry about one of my guns coming over to me and popping me in the head because that's not a concern I have, even though my dad did that, right? That's not an issue I ever think about. So stupid. All right. Yeah, I don't think I have to put in like every single. Okay, let's look up suicide rate by. Okay, so we'll just click all these out. Click. Did I do that? Gun deaths in Mississippi. Highest gun deaths by state. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in there, and this is something I'm gonna put in the I'm gonna say misleading NBC because it is right. That's misleading news article about suicide versus murder, city versus rural. Okay, and then I can take this, copy. Hopefully you guys, this doesn't bother you too much. I think that this might, the thing is that like down the road, I might have to, I don't know, maybe I'll just do this stuff in like different ways, but this is the best way I can think about doing it right now. And now at least you guys know, like, I'm not cherry picking stuff. Like I'm trying to go through and like literally none of the articles that I've seen that there's that one that was super, super, super long. Remember, if you've watched all these videos all the way to the end, there was one article I saw that it was talking about the founding fathers and what they meant by different things that they said. And it was basically arguing that the founding fathers didn't support the Second Amendment in the way that like we argue today. And it was just super, super, super long. And I was like trying to get through it. I was like halfway through and it was like an hour and a half in. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was kind of just dragging. And there were like some good points, but I fact check a couple, I think. But then literally every single other article that I've seen or video I've heard, like the arguments that people make against guns are terrible. And you get misleading stuff like this, right? Or you get, what is it? Highest gun deaths by state, gun deaths in Mississippi, right? This one, right? Oh, the rate of gun deaths in Mississippi increased from 2009 to 18. Yeah, that's because you're not going back to 1993 because you can't do that because that throws out your argument. Like we just keep seeing this over and over and over again. And people wonder why, people are pro-gun. It's like if you do the research, honestly, every single person I've ever listened to who I respect is like, listen, do your own research and then you'll figure out that like these arguments do not hold water. And so that's what I'm doing. And these arguments do not seem to be holding any water. Okay. So we're trying to figure out Mississippi gun deaths, rural versus urban. Center for American Progress. Oh my gosh. Let's try DuckDuckGo. I'm just getting a bunch of like ridiculous stuff. Okay. MISSISSIPPI. 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 Didn't I spell it right? Whatever. Gun deaths by. Let's look up gun deaths by county. And then we can look up the big counties. Okay, mother gets 14 years in death of new. Okay. How about let's just look up in general. Urban versus rural. Let's look up homicide rate because we don't care. Here we go. Credit to NBC News here. All right, same article. Maybe I just didn't read enough. From 2011 to 2020, the most rural counties had a 46% lower rate of gun homicide deaths than the most urban counties, but a 76% higher rate of gun suicide deaths, according to Reaping's analysis. Okay, but if you were to just, I don't think I'm being, crazy here. If you were to read this, right? And a lot of people just read headlines. You scroll through Twitter, you read, you're scrolling Facebook, and then what do? Like you read the title, and I'm willing to bet less than 20% of people like read a whole article every time they see it because we're just inundated with so much information. So they put this out there. Lots of people see the title, and I'd be willing to bet even less than 20% of people. So what do you come away with when map of gun deaths across the US shows cities have lower rates than rural communities? You're like, oh, I thought it was the opposite. And then it's kind of confusing. You're like, oh, interesting. And then when somebody brings that up, be like, no, I saw on NBC that the gun deaths are lower in the cities than they are outside. And you're like, yeah, when you're talking about suicide, which doesn't matter. Okay. Firearm deaths in the US 2011 to 2021. Hawaii. Oh, it's done by county. That's cool. Okay, so it's gonna make me look like, yeah, that's Mississippi. I'm really bad with geography. Okay, let's look up county map. All right, this is credit where it's due, like I'm not trying to like crap on people if they're doing good reporting. I don't like the title, but it looks like they're giving good data here, hopefully. CDC Wonder. So yeah. Okay, let's look up this one. Okay, now we have to look up what. Look up like top 3 cities. Okay, Jackson, Gulfport, and South Haven. Okay, let's just look up Jackson. What county is Jackson? Mississippi. Hines County. Now let's look up Hines County, Mississippi on a map. Okay. Hines County. It's like 1, 2, 3 over from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There should be Hines. Ooh, look at me go. Gun deaths per 100,000. 31.7. 31.7. Whoa. Average population 240,000. Okay, so now let's see Brewster County. Let's look up Texas. Largest, it's Austin, right? Largest city in Texas. Houston. All right. Houston County. Oh, it's literally Houston County. Okay, so where is, okay, Houston County on a map? Okay, way over. Okay, so Kind of this goofy guy that's like off to the side there. Houston. Ha, look at me go. 14.4. Okay, not as bad. Now what about Austin? Because here's like I'm not trying to like I'm not like, ooh, yeah, look, I've just heard that like the blue cities are far worse when it comes to gun deaths. Austin, Texas County on a map. All right, got like 15 more minutes. Belleville, Sealy. Travis. Okay, Travis keeps coming up. Austin County in southeastern Texas. Okay, let's look up Austin. Austin on a map. It's terrible. Oh, here we go. Okay, these two, and then these two, and it's that goofy one. So what are we looking at? We're looking at these two. This one, Austin. Guys and ladies. Okay, 19.3. Okay, so Texas isn't as bad. Okay, so Mississippi, that first one. So let's go back there. States with the highest, Mississippi, 50.9, right? Where are all the gun suicides? Right. Okay, so what are they saying? They're saying that the average gun death rate per 100,000 is 27.57. Okay, that's what they're arguing. Okay, so get rid of that. Bring all these back down. Okay, so now Mississippi is 31.7. I'm willing to bet that they probably have some pretty stringent gun laws. Let's look up 2020 election, Mississippi election results by county. Okay, so now let's come over here. Let's look at the bluest parts. Oh my gosh, this is like annoying. Okay, so we got Mississippi. Let's look up Holmes. Okay, so it's like a little bit above. So Holmes is pretty high, 33.9. Let's look up Holmes. Okay, so Holmes, is that a red place? Where's Holmes? Okay, so boom. And then it's like 1, 2, it's like kind of, yeah, basically one up. Holmes. Okay, so Hines, so boom, boom, right here. Holmes County, 81.2% for Biden. I'm not saying the Democrats are more violent. I'm saying that their policies, for whatever reason, allow violent people to perpetrate their crimes. Why would that possibly be? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because people aren't armed to protect themselves. Okay, so the two top ones that I can find. I mean, this is what okay, this is just, I'm about to be so pro Second Amendment for this. Okay, let's keep going. LaFleur. Okay, so right above Holmes is LaFleur, 29.9. Where is that? Boom, boom, boom. That's Holmes. LaFleur, 70.2 for Biden. Let's do one more. Let's go 24.6. Tippa, at the very Tippa, Mississippi. 1, 2, 3 over. 1, 2. Okay. Population, 8,000. So if you have like a couple murders, it would really affect the numbers, right? Because down here you have like 100,000 people in Hines. Up here you have, well, Holmes is about the same. Okay. So let's keep going. I'm not trying to be biased. Okay, so Tippa. Let's look up Panola. Panola, all the way to the left and then down 3. Panola. All right, that was like almost an even split. Trump won, but almost an even split. Let's look up. Ooh. $34.8 homicides, 68. Oh, this gives you like the total homicide. 22. Okay, so Tippa was 22. Marshall. Okay, let's do one more. Coahoma County. Coahoma looks like it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so not entirely blue, right? But it looks like, let's just go over this real quick. Let's just try and okay, so I think generally speaking, like the right is red, the left is blue. So like go like this. Let's just see like what the rates are and we'll just go over it quickly, right? So 13, 15, 15. Right. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so you can always, there's always going to be outliers statistically, right? I'm not trying to, but if you take like a line, right? Like basically right down here, this right here, everything to the left of this is roughly blue and everything to the right of this is roughly red, right? And look at where all the gun deaths are. The vast majority of them are in blue areas. Okay, so that's the only point I was trying to make. So let's look up this. Worst cities with most homicides. Thirty U.S. cities with most homicides. Cleveland. Okay, let's just go all the way down to. Okay, top 5. Baltimore. What? Gosh. Dallas, Texas. Let's look up Dallas, Texas on a map. Okay. What county is Dallas, Texas? Okay. Dallas on a map. Big guy up here. Gun deaths per 100,000, 12. Okay, that's just because they have like a lot of people. You should just see like Delaware County, New York, Suffolk, Queens, 2.4. Okay. 345. All right, let's look up. Okay, Baltimore's obviously blue. We don't even have to look that up. Which way did Dallas go? Dallas, or let's look up Dallas County 2020 election results. I feel like 2022 isn't as good of a. He won in Texas. Dallas County 65.1. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so blue city. Next, Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. Phoenix, Arizona. One. Pretty split in Phoenix. Still blue. Pretty split. Philly. Philadelphia, 62.9. Pittsburgh, 59. Okay. Now let's look at number one, Chicago. Yeah, obviously. Absolute terror town. All right. Do we have to look up if let's just look up for fun what percentage of people. Chicago County 2020 election results. $75. So every single top every single county with the highest murder rate in the entire country, top 5, all run by Democrats. Right? So they're like getting upset with a bunch of people who live out in rural towns. And we're like, dude, you guys can't even figure out your own cities. Why should I listen to you? I'm not in those cities. Like, you taking away my guns in rural Maryland doesn't do anything to fix your crazy city. And the gun laws there are already super tense, intense. You can't carry. There's limited mag laws in a lot of these places. One of the things that I saw the other day, I'm going to end with this. Okay, let's look up gun deaths by country 2023. Okay, so all of the ones that we just saw. All right, let's add up. Okay, so let's just add up these. So in Chicago, Illinois, 166. So let's just get a calculator real quick. I'm terrible with math, so we got, and you can fact check me, 166 plus 165 plus 137 plus 126 plus 112. Okay, 706. 706 murders in the 5 deadliest cities in the US. Okay, so when we go to this, Brazil leads us. Total gun deaths. Okay, all causes. See, I want to see homicide. Homicides per 100,000. Okay. Look at this. Oh my gosh, no way. Listen to this. I didn't know this. Countries with the highest rates of violent gun death, homicides per 100,000 residents in 2019. El Salvador, Venezuela, Guatemala, Colombia, Brazil, Bahamas, Honduras, U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Mexico. Gun violence in Latin America is exceptionally high, due in no small part to the prevalence of criminal gangs and a vibrant drug trafficking industry. Fair enough. Countries with the highest rates of firearm-related suicide per 100,000. Okay, so when a lot of people, I feel like when a lot of people argue, America has the most gun deaths, it's like, yeah, but it is, hopefully you're understanding and you're agreeing with me on this, because if you're not, you're just being insane. You have to equate it to per 100,000 people, right? Because if you take our gun deaths in a population of roughly 340 million people, and then you compare it to some tiny country that has like 2 million people, it's like, yeah, of course we're going to be higher. But that's comparing apples to elephants. That's just stupid. I didn't know this. We're not even in the top 10 of the highest rates of gun violent death homicides per 100,000 residents. I didn't know that. World population. Interesting. Actually, I definitely need to save that one. Okay. So, gun homicides. Let's look up homicides by country. I mean, did you guys know that? I didn't know that. That's pretty wild. Definitely putting this in the Friday video. Gun deaths by country 2023. Wise voter. Okay. 2.99 per 100,000 is the global average. 920 deaths by firearms, global average. Suicides by firearms, 0.7. Accidental deaths by firearms, 0.49. Gun death rate. See, this is saying gun death rate. Okay. Number of deaths by firearm. See, now this is saying we're not even in. Okay, so this is talking about, this is murder rate. They're saying murder rate. See, this is kind of confusing. Let's do last 10. El Salvador. Let's see where America falls. Okay, so gun death rate. El Salvador, Venezuela, Guatemala, Colombia, Honduras, Bahamas, Trinidad, St. Kitts, Panama, Guyana, Jamaica, Haiti, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Philippines, Paraguay, Costa Rica. United States of America is 32nd. 4.12 per 100,000. Wow. Save that one. America 32nd in gun deaths. I'm pretty sure that's homicides, because that equates to the difference that the other article was talking about, because they have the same stats, but the other one was calling them homicides, this one calling them gun deaths. So now what happens if you take out all those super crazy countries or super crazy cities that have that insanely high death rate? Where would we fall then? Making it the second country with the most gun deaths. Okay, so the United States of America ranks third country with the most gun deaths, with 13,001 gun deaths per year. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's the most. This is the number that everybody quotes. Colombia ranks fourth, and Venezuela ranks fifth. But we just kill ourselves a lot, frankly. And again, my dad was part of that. Gun deaths by country. Okay, let's just go to one more, because I don't want to cherry pick here. I mean, these are all like on Google too. Google's not known for being a bastion of conservatism and pro Second Amendment stuff. List of countries, but let's just look up Wikipedia. Intentional homicide victims per 100,000. Look at this. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria. Oh, look at this. This is wild. I didn't know this. Total firearm. Okay, we'll do that one next. Okay, so this is Wikipedia. Let's save this one. Gun deaths by country. Wikipedia. Already copied. Insert link. This is wild. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Let's try and find where the United States is. It's supposed to be 32nd. This is according to what? What year? Okay, let's look up. Okay, let's look United States. Okay, am I losing it here? Actually, let's go the other way. United States, number 9. Am I losing it? Number 9, Samoa. Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry, people. Okay, United States, that's just the 9th column, sorry. Okay, 6.4. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's go all the way down to 6.4. United States 59, according to Wikipedia. What? Dude. This is okay, created by combining list of countries by intentional homicide rate, estimated number of civilian guns. We gotta be at the top, yeah. Yeah. 120.5. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that actually makes sense because there's like 450 million guns. There's only 350 people or 350 million people. This is sick, dude. All right. This one has been like the most fun because this honestly is blowing my mind right now. And actually, I have to go pick up my kids, so I'm just gonna leave it with that. But holy cow, people. You tell me if you just listen to that, if you made it to the end of this, did you know any of that? And this just took a little bit of research. Like I suck at research. I'm just going to be honest with that. And it's not me being super honest. It's just the fact. Like I'm terrible at research. Like when I Google something sometimes, like I look at my search and I'm like, what did I just type into Google? There's like that commercial. It's if Google was a real person and it's someone who's sitting in an office and people like come in asking questions, like they type into Google and the person's just sitting there like, are you serious? But I mean, this didn't take very long. And then look at what we just learned. Okay, let's just recap real quick. Okay, so I'm going to close all this stuff out because I think we got all this. Okay, so boom. Okay, Mississippi, Wyoming, Louisiana, Alaska. Okay, so we just went over Mississippi, right? But where are the vast majority of gun deaths? Blue cities. Okay. Um, okay, so we can X out of that. Gun violence in Mississippi. Okay, this chart misleading, right? They're cherry picking their data. What's this one? Oh, suicide rates. Yeah, so white people kill themselves a lot more. We're really depressed, apparently. Suicide rate by race. This stupid headline, and they do end up giving you the data, which I ended up using quite a lot. But I mean this is a very misleading headline. Kurt's Okay. And then gun homicides by country. Oh, that was a bad one. Oh, you know what? I think, yeah, there we go. Okay. United States, country with the highest total gun deaths, all causes. Yeah, we're up there. But then if you look at violent homicide, we're not even like, I mean, we're so far below. Where is this? Last thing. Let's just try and find. I don't even know where we are. Okay. Oh, this is total deaths. Okay, so then we can say, okay, this is just a map. All right. So we did that, and then we did that with a couple different links. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. So I have to go pick up my kids. Did you know that? Did you know that? Come on. What have you always been told? What have you always been told? Or what have people always parroted? That America is the worst crime, the worst gun violence in the entire world, right? Adjusted for population, which you have to do, obviously. Obviously. Like no good scientist, no good statistician would ever compare a 350 million person population to anything with like a 2 million person population. They just wouldn't even do that. That would make no sense. But then these politicians just skew data. It's obvious. So yeah, I hope this was as eye-opening for you as it was for me. That was wild. The end of that was wild. Holy cow. I'm kind of blown away right now, to be honest with you. Mind blown. All right. Until next time, stay safe, live free, keep those guns, people, because you are not the problem. You are not the problem. You're the solution. And keep yourself safe. And until next time, stay safe, live free, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.